The Cannabis Show is for information only. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed physician or other medical care provider.
Welcome to The Cannabis Show. Today on the show, Evan teaches us how to deal with odor on growing tips. Basil tells us about one of his buds, and we explore the strain Orange by Spectrum. Keep watching. What's in a name? You've heard that before on The Cannabis Show, and that's why I like licensed producers Spectrum's take on their medical cannabis. They don't call it anything, well, except colors. In this case, the strain I'm going to talk about is Orange. Yep, Orange. Listed on Spectrum's website as a hybrid indica, I assumed that this could be a good daytime indica strain. A typical effect would be that of stress relief, calmness, and attention to detail, and I was correct. Spectrum's Orange is a delight from the opening of the bottle. Blasted with a strong terpene profile of myrcene, caryophyllene, and limonene, this strain is a beauty from a citrusy scent and taste to the actual effects. After a few vapes of Spectrum Orange, I knew this strain from before. But what was the name of it? But then, what does it matter? I found that Orange was a good day or early evening bud as it kept me focused, calm, and anxiety-free. Patients have also reported the same effects with added uses for pain, stress, fibromyalgia, depression, and to enhance one's appetite. Orange by Spectrum.
Hello everybody, my name is Kait and I am so pleased to introduce you to a friend of mine. I've known her for a couple of years. She's been on the scene almost since the beginning, I think. Kelly Gibson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So we'd like to talk to you about your experience within the cannabis realm because, like we say, you did start in it quite a while ago. Can you tell us about that?
I sure did, yes, absolutely. So really my cannabis journey began when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2001. Crohn's disease is basically an illness that affects your digestive system. Currently, there's no cure or real treatments at this time. So after struggling for many years, the first while doing the traditional methods and pharmaceuticals, my husband actually encouraged me to pursue my medical cannabis prescription. But however, there were quite a few hurdles at that time because it was quite a while ago. So the first thing I did, obviously, was I did go to several of my own doctors, which they all did say no. The second thing I had to do was I did then purchase a list from a consultant who actually provided me a list of names of doctors who were willing to prescribe. At that point, I did contact one of those doctors on the list here in town. And he did ask me then when I saw him to write a letter to the Alberta College of Physicians and Surgeons asking basically for permission for this doctor to prescribe the cannabis in an effort to protect his license so that his medical license wouldn't be taken away. And after finally getting through all those hurdles, I did receive my first MMAR prescription to use cannabis medically. And I did use it quite successfully since then. I've used it every day, and I use it every different method. And I have been successfully treating my own illness with the cannabis, and I'm not using any pharmaceuticals at this time. However, obviously, I do recommend that you consult a professional before changing your treatment plan.
Wow. So 2001, that was the very first year that people were allowed to access it for medical purposes.
That's when my journey started,
legally.
Yes. Yeah.
So you went, your doctor asked for your permission, and the college actually took your opinion and ran with it.
Yes, they did provide me with a letter sort of giving neutral options to my doctor so that he would feel comfortable prescribing it at that time. And obviously things have improved a lot. The system is not the same. Thankfully, some of the changes have provided better options for patients. It's a lot more accessible than it was when I first went through the program. Back then, though, however, the cannabis product I was being sent, it was not the highest quality, but however, it was from a legal source, and at that time it was an expense to my taxes. So there was a desirable factor there to continue doing it aside from all of those hurdles. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have access to oil? I guess not.
Not at that time. It was just dried herb from the Prairie Plant Farms, and they did send it just kind of milled up in one bag. There was only just one choice. There was no options, and that's how the program really began. And thankfully, it's changed a lot since then.
No kidding. So just because of the nature of your ailment and that it's internal, did you find that doing oils helped more than ingesting through the lungs?
Yes and no. High fat is a stimulant for Crohn's, people with digestive illnesses. So actually tinctures work a little bit better, anything that's absorbed through your saliva as opposed to an oil, which is high fat.
Oh, interesting.
But I do make a lot of coconut oil for my topicals. So that is one way I use those high fat ingredients that are being converted these days. But for as far as the most successful way to treat my Crohn's is using obviously THC and CBD, whatever form, whether that's being vaped or even some oils that have a less of a high fat content. There are some mediums that are a little bit better than others, but definitely have to be careful with that aspect. Patches, those are really helpful. So
you can get transdermal patches now?
through some other sources you can,
Right,
yes.
okay.
So, but that is probably the best option for people with IBS and things like that. So then you
that
have
right?
your continual release absorption there. So
That's
yeah,
a great
there
idea.
are some options.
So you're under control now, more or less?
Absolutely. I've been in remission for a really long time,
Yeah.
more than 10 years maybe.
That's fabulous.
I haven't been to the emergency room in several years, knock on
Yay.
wood. And I'm not using any pharmaceuticals of any kind at the moment.
So cannabis was more successful than pharmaceuticals
it
for
absolutely
you.
was. I would for
Yeah.
sure say that.
So you had to
in
say
my
to your
experience.
husband that he was right.
He was most definitely right, yes. And he also helped me to learn how to grow it myself. So
Nice.
I do have my ACMPR permit to grow my own personal medicine, more or less. And it is beneficial because I can also make the topicals and things like that I need to treat other problems that I have, secondary problems that you get after having a chronic illness. So
Yeah. But you're able to work?
yes, I've worked full time now, basically my journey brought me to a career in the industry. Soon after I got my prescription, I decided that I could help more people by starting to work at a local cannabis clinic. So I did do that for quite a few years. And then at the same time, I was also writing for several cannabis publications, sharing my experience on lots of topics, recipes, strain reviews, how to grow, all types of topics, just to share my knowledge with those who are also struggling like I was.
That's great. And who are you working with now?
Right now, I work for SpiritLeaf. They're a recreational dispensary franchise business here, and they're operating in 4 provinces. For them, I do a variety of roles. I do their content creation. I also do a little bit of purchasing for them, which is awfully fun. And thirdly, I do a lot of training. So I am utilizing a lot of my experience and knowledge that I've gained over the years. And I get to train their staff and their franchise members. And it has been a real rewarding experience for me overall, turning a negative into a positive. So
Have you ever making limonene out of lemons or something
yes,
like that?
that's right. Absolutely.
That's fabulous. So where can people find out more about you? You're pretty present on social media?
I am a little bit, yes. I do have an Instagram account, so you can look me up. Kelly Has Crohn's. So I do have an Instagram account as well as a YouTube channel that I have a few videos on how to eat with IBS and things like that, and even a little bit on medical marijuana. And so you look for those, and definitely give me a subscription if you can, please. Thank
Well,
you.
great. We'll definitely have all of your social media information in the comments.
Absolutely. I'm happy to give advice, and especially if you want advice about how to get into the industry too, I'd be happy to give some information about that as well. So.
Ooh, give us a tidbit of that.
Oh, sure. Well, my best advice to everyone is to start going to the expos, volunteer at the expos, go to the expos. There's always networking events happening in Calgary. There's 3 or 4 this month, even for that matter. Get involved. Go to those niches. Find out like what's going on. Figure out where you want to be in the industry and just go for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly Gibson.
You're welcome. Of course.
Thanks for watching.
Hello and welcome to Growing Tips. My name is Evan. One of my favorite things about cannabis is the pungent aromas and all the different smells that come from it. But not everyone appreciates it quite the same way as I do. To be a good neighbor, I make sure to clean the air before I exhaust my grow room so as not to annoy any neighbors with those smells. There's a few different products to avoid smells in the grow room, including deodorizing sprays and ozone generators. But the safest and most common method you'll see will be using an activated charcoal filter. Mine's really, really big, but you can find them in all kinds of different sizes and shapes. And to accompany that, you'll need the right sized fan, including the diameter of the connections, as well as the CFM, or the amount of air it moves. And having this on the exit of your grow room will clean the air before leaving the house, keeping your neighbors happy. Another common way to remove the smell from the air is to use an ozone generator, but this will have negative health consequences and is illegal in a number of places, so we'd want to avoid that. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and keep growing.
This is Basil's Buds, where I talk about someone awesome who I kind of wish was my bud. Kurt Robbins is one of my biggest cannabis heroes for two simple reasons. He's a very talented weed-focused wordsmith, and his mantra, learn and teach others, applies so well to my field of passion. For myself, as a curious young man new to the world of terpenes, cannabinoids, and cultivars, Guy Rybinski, Kurt's nom de plume, was and still is one of my preferred authors on the subject. Kurt is a technical writer by trade, focusing on compliance documentation and completing cannabis license applications. On top of that, he has contributed to all of the major channels that you might visit to read about your favorite plant, including High Times, Skunk, and Weed World. If you aren't already following Kurt Robbins on all of your social medias, then you are absolutely missing the boat on quality cannabis and culture education. If I've convinced you, make sure you look him up on LinkedIn and definitely throw him a follow on Twitter.
Welcome to the Cannabis Show. I'm Chris. We got Hart, Kait, and Basil. And Basil's Buds, yeah, Kurt Robbins. I follow him on Twitter. He's very active on there.
Yeah, always dropping great articles here and there.
Yeah, man, he's amazing. I mean, he's got a lot of love for the Cannabis Show.
Absolutely.
I was almost like, what took you so long?
Well, there he is.
Yeah.
Do you have an article that you would recommend? Like anybody starting off?
Definitely one of my favorite from Kurt is, it was under Guy Rybinski, and it was CBG as the mother of all cannabinoids. Great article.
Yeah, nice, awesome. So definitely look out for
Check
that.
him out. He's
So you can ask us anything on the Cannabis Show, and our next question, because we are like international, because you know, it's YouTube, we can go anywhere. This question's from Sweden. It's from Nick. And are you ready?
We're ready. You're going to read it in Swedish?
Well, no, but I'm going to do my best. It's kind of broken. It's actually English is better than mine, but still. I'm going to ask the question first, and then he's got a comment after that we'll get to. So it's called a donut, I guess we could say it is. All right, so here we go. Hey ho, hello. I can't think of any better to ask when you guys and girls. If you were a cannabis patient pushing past 45 and personal med grower that wants to grow his own medicine and moving to Canada and don't want to break any laws, where would you settle down knowing what you know, as cannabis-informed proud Canadians now know? Now, again, that is from Nick or Nicholas and Tuck for din floga.
Nice.
That was my best. Yeah, there we go. I was already saying thank you for your question. I got that muddled up.
Swedish?
Yeah, well, actually, one person in our crew is Swedish, so he was all up and he's happy. So, what's your thoughts on
Well,
that?
I think it's important to note that there are a few provinces where you can't just grow like everyone else. So those are...
Quebec, Manitoba, and Nunavut right now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I would stay right here in my home province of Alberta. I think we have a lot of retail opportunities. There's some government stuff. But yeah, you can grow your own here. There's, I think you were mentioning about the
Great water,
water.
clean air.
We've got
Sky for
friends
days.
here already.
Yeah.
We're always in the top 5 for like greatest city or cleanest
True.
city.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I
Calgary,
agree.
or even Edmonton too, I would say. Right?
But, you know, or we could maybe go there. Check this out. He continues. Thank you so much for you and your show and you being you. One of a kind you all are. Please, please keep it up. If you ever wake up on my side of the Atlantic, up north where the Vikings dwell, and he wrote dwell, please feel free to hit me up. You're the most welcome for a fika, something very Swedish that involved getting together for a sit down, which of course is coffee, like cinnamon buns, sandwiches, and why not cake? At least 4 to 8 times a day. It's true, he says.
I got a lot
Swing
of
by
fika.
for a fika. Why don't you? Nicholas, thank you again. Tack för din fråga.
Nice.